So in the previous video, we have talked about how you can use the joining part, how you can create some events. I've already made some changes which I'm going to talk about. Firstly, I changed the name of message.type to message.event, so it will be more clear to the people that what we are doing. The next part is we have deleted the socket to user. It was not being done in the first part, so we have done this part. Other than that, most of the things are uh, pretty similar. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Right now you can see it, I think, pretty easily. If yeah, is it running? Yeah, is it running? Today's part is kind of different and kind of useful how you can understand it. We're going to go a little bit into the what we're going to do. So we are going to do the group chat part. So today we're going to create a backend in which we can join, like we can actually pretty much join to a particular group and we can send it to a particular room. So if you are familiar with WebSockets, which I'm guessing you are, then like this is pretty familiar how what is being done in the front end. So basically we have rooms, different room, let's say room 1. So it's a normal chat room. You can think of like you wanted to go to a group chat, you wanted to go to a anonymous group chat, and there you joined. So you will be given a random room number in which by which you will going to join that particular room. And by joining that particular room, what you will going to do, you can now chat with the people who are already joined into the room. This will be different for group chats, this will be different for particular chats. Let's say in group chat you will going to do something like room number 1, something like that. But if you are doing a chat with, let's say I'm Mohak and I'm doing a chat with Shreyas, let's say. Okay, so talking to Shreyas, let's make this a room. So probably the room name will going to look like this, and only me and Shreyas can share the information. Got it? Let me check one particular thing. Did my mic is muted? Yeah, it's muted. Need to mute it, yes, again. That will be different. Oh, got it. So this is the part one. This is the part we're going to talk about. This is the part we're going to talk about today. So we're going to create a room in which we're going to admit some users, and then the users can talk to each other. Basically, this is the part. And we will learn how to do broadcasting in native WebSocket. We know how to do broadcasting in Socket.io, but native socket is pretty easier for that particular thing. So what are the things we have done? We have done how to use the event logic. So we need to change this event logic in order to create the broadcasting logic. Got it? So what is the broadcasting logic I'm talking about? Let's say I am the user Mohak. Let's say, got it? So I'm the user Mohak, and there is another user called Shreyash. I'm giving an example of Shreyash. And let's say there is another user called Kaushik, let's say. Got it? So when they are joining, they will join based on a room. Let's say Shreyash and Mohak joined to a particular room. They are in the room 1. So they are in the room 1, and probably Kaushik joined in on the different room. So he was joined in the room 2. So whatever message um, Kaushik will do will not be reflected to the room 1 or any message to Mohak or Shreyash. But whatever message Shreyash or Mohak are talking about, if Shreyash send a message, then Mohak can see it, but Kaushik can't. Got it? So this is the part. This is the thing we'll have to do. So ironically, we have to maintain a different kind of a hash map with this particular thing. So to do this, we're going to do something like we need to compare, we need to store the room IDs to a particular socket. And I'm going to talk about why there is a socket, why not to a username itself. We can store the username to the socket also, username to the room ID also, but there are some issues that you have to face in order to do that. That issue we're going to talk about soon. But before doing that, I wanted to create a broadcast function, and there is a big reason for it why I'm creating a broadcast function. Acha, before this, I wanted to join the user, so I'm going to create a hash map. The hash map will going to be socket to, let's say, the room ID. Got it? So the socket will be WebSocket, as we know already, and the room ID will be string, and we're going to store it in the um, socket to room hash map. So in the join statement, we're going to store the socket to room, and if we do the set, we're going to store it using something like message dot. There will be something called the room ID. Let's say the room ID will be a good name. So we are storing the socket to a room ID. This is the part we have done. Why am I doing this is a big question. We're going to come into it. But the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a broadcast function. Broadcast. We create something like this, and I wanted to make this a general function. Like, I wanted to use this function for every broadcasting logic we are doing. So I have to make it generic. I have to make it usable for any other use case. So I'm not going to use a specific thing for only join. Let's say if there is a event called joining, or there is an event called message, I want both the events can use this particular broadcast function. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a payload. So I'm going to pass a payload. The payload will going to be an object. This can be any object. This can be any JSON object. We're going to send it via socket. Got it? What is the next thing we can do? The payload will going to be like the joining statement. The user has joined. The message statement. The user sent a message. So something like that. Okay. Next thing I think we all need is the room ID. In which room we are joining, right? And is the next thing we're going to need is the existing socket. Got it? This will be WebSocket. Why the existing socket? Let's say I send a message to Shreyas. I don't want myself to see that message. If I want that, we have to make some little changes. Other than that, that's pretty fine. You can handle it on the front end also. But in this use case, I want Shreyas to only see the message which we have sent. We can do this on a way ki, like what we are sending is a particular thing we can do. But right now in this use case, what we are doing, that if Mohak has sent a message, Mohak should not see the message. Shreyas should see the message because he was already present in the room. I'm doing it like this. We can change it later. But for this use case, we're going to do this like this, because I wanted to show you something. So what is the next thing we can do? We can iterate over the room logic, room hash map. So if you do something like const socket and room ID, or so let's say room, I have to do off socket room ID, socket to room ID dot entries, so we can iterate over both of the values. Got it? So if the room equal to the room ID, if the room and the room ID is same, so we have to do what? We have to check if the existing user exists, like this is the existing user or not. So if we check something like the socket, if it's the existing user. Got it? I'm writing it in a pretty easy way. If it is not the existing user, if it if it is the existing user, not the existing user, if it is the existing user, then I can continue. I don't want to send that message. But if it's not the existing user, I want this socket to send a message or broadcast a message, which will be a JSON.stringify object, and that will be the payload. This is the whole WebSocket or broadcasting logic. This is the thing I wanted to talk about today. Got it? What is the next thing we have to do? Next thing is pretty simple. We have to just broadcast this to the users. So what is the broadcasting thing? Yeah, I have to send a JSON object, right? The JSON object can be something like message. What is the username? Message.username is joined, right? I wanted to send only this. And what are the next two things we have to send? The first thing is the room ID. So I can get it from the message itself. I'm going to send the room ID. And the existing socket is the socket because I'm using this socket. Got it? If you don't know about this code, this is from the first part. You have to check the first part. Then you can come into this. This is pretty much it. The logic for joining the user. Let's try to join. I'm created a particular session with it. So I'm going to join two users. Right. I'm going to join another user right here. This is I was doing this. So yeah. So I have three users, Mohak, Shreyas and Koshik. So I can choose Mohak. I can connect. There is an error connecting to it. Let's see. Oh, the error is I haven't started the server. So I have to start the server, run index.ts. If we try to connect now, it connected. If we send, we have sent a joining message to the room. Now, if we connect to this and we have joined, you can see the Mohawk user can see that Shreyas has joined. If I join with the third account and if I send a message, now I have sent a message to join, you can see Shreyas can see Koshik has joined the socket system. And you can see Mohawk also can see that Koshik has joined. So this is the part I was talking about. Mohawk haven't seen that Mohawk has joined. Mohawk does seen that Koshik and Shreyas has joined. So if you want Mohawk to also see this, then you can just comment this part. That's pretty much do the work. So if I disconnect, if I connect it again, if I disconnect and connect it again, disconnect and connect it again. If I send, so if I send this also, so you can see that Mohawk has joined. You can see Shreyas has joined. Why there is this thing? Oh, this is the reason, because I have to do it in a watch mode. Then only the updated code will going to run every time. So if I connect it, connect and connect. If I send this, you can see your own username too, right? That Koshik has joined. So you can get an idea that yeah, I have joined. So you can see Mohawk has joined. You can see everyone can see now that Mohawk has joined. So you can actually out this part. You don't want to see this part, you can do that. But if you want yeah, I wanted to, like, I only want everyone to see my message, but I don't want to see I don't want myself to see the message, you can do that. So this is the part of joining the user. What is the next part? The next part is message. So if I send a message, I have to create a event, right? This is the easiest part. Not the easiest part, yeah. I have to create an event. Before creating the event called message, I have to check that if the user already exists or not. There are few ways to check it, but we're going to go to a more secure way to do this. Firstly, we have to find who's the sender. So we can get the sender's uh, senders from the socket to user, right? Socket to user. Who's the sender details? So I can get it from message.username. This will be socket.get. So I have to get the username. So if the sender does not exist, then what we can say that socket to user, right? No, we don't have to pass username. We have to pass socket as it's socket to username. So if the sender doesn't exist, so we can say like the user doesn't exist. But there is another thing you can do, which is you can get the room ID too, right? So if socket dot username socket to room ID dot get, this is also from socket. So if room ID doesn't exist, let's say, so we can say key like you can't message, user doesn't exist or the room doesn't exist. So room ID, you can say something like return, not return, throw a new error that user or room doesn't exist. Got it? This is the easy part, right? I have to put a break message, I think. That is the reason why it was complaining. What is the next part? What is the message part we have to do? So there will be a message which is coming from the user end, right? The front end itself. We have to broadcast the message to the users who are already joined in that particular room. So what we have to do a broadcast. What is the payload will going to be? The payload will going to be something like the messages message.msg, let's say. Got it? If you send msg, that's fine, that will be fine. What is the next part? The room id. The room id will going to come from the message itself. So room id, this is pretty much the work. But I want to send who sent the message. So you can do something like this, that there is a username for this. So this username person who have sent the message. Now there will be an interesting part. We're going to cover that. Firstly, I'm going to do something like a join statement, as we know. But here I'm going to create another room. So this will be from room 2. So the Kaushik was joining to room 2. Now if I connect, and here I also connect, and here I also connect. So if I send a message that Kaushik has joined, will not see both of them. If I, let's say, Shreyas has joined, and so I shouldn't do that. I can disconnect and connect it again. Now if I do a send message to Kaushik, you can see Kaushik has joined, has been returned to me, but Shreyas can't see that because Kaushik was in a different room. But if you join Mohak now, let's say, if I send a message called Mohak joined, you can see Shreyas can see it, but there is no logs from Kaushik because Kaushik was in another room. Now let's say if I do the message event, if I do this message event, we have to pass another thing called. There is another thing you have to check out, that if the message argument exists or not. For now I'm leaving it. This is the optimization part. So hello everyone, let's say this has been sent by whom? This has been sent by this has been sent by Shreyas, I think. Yeah, Shreyas. So let's say Shreyas send a message called hello everyone. So Shreyas has sent a message called hello everyone, and this has been got by Mohak. So Mohak can see that Shreyas has sent a message called hello everyone, but Kaushik can't see anything because again Kaushik was in a different room. So if Mohak also do the same, like he's also sent a message called message hello Shreyas. If I do something like this, Shreyas, and if I send a message So there's a parsing error. If I send a message again after giving a comma, I can see there is a hello Shreyas message from Mohak. And I see a hello Shreyas message from Mohak into the Shreyas's tab also. But Kaushik again can't see it. You can do something like, if you think Kaushik feels lonely, so you can do something like here. You can create another you, let's say. Okay, so you joined to the room 2. Now you can see Kaushik can see that you have joined. You can send a message from here also. You got the part. Hello Kaushik, don't be lonely, let's say. And you have sent the message that Kaushik don't be lonely. Kaushik can see that he's not lonely right now. So this is pretty much how the broadcasting logic works. You can make it optimized. There are some optimizations you can do, like you can firstly check that if the message msg doesn't exist, you can return something called throw new error, that message doesn't exist. So these are some optimizations you can do. Got it? So this is pretty much it. You can put your room ID here. Oh, I have put it already. So yeah, this is pretty much it for today. If you if you have liked it, if you found something valuable, please give a like.